Okay, so I'm going to continue off the last videos because I had started reading from the book and didn't get a chance to finish the section. So obviously the thing that I left on was the quotation by Jung about the Grail and the importance and significance of the Holy Grail in what is illumination, because the Grail religion is the secret that the enlightened ones keep, and in the information that they have released, they lay out the blueprint through the hero's journey to be able to attain the Grail, and that's why they are the keepers of the Grail religion. And so, just continuing on in this section. This series constitutes an unprecedented experiment, with one of its main aims being to diffuse the absurd misinformation and disinformation that appears in enormous amounts on the internet regarding the Illuminati, making it the most controversial organization on Earth. The Illuminati is the oldest secret society in the world and currently comprises approximately 6,000 souls from all across the globe. The Order of the Illuminati offers 10 degrees, of which 7 are ordinary degrees and the remaining 3 mystery degrees. The ruling council comprises the 12 most senior members of the Illuminati, those who have attained the 10th degree and mastered all of its mysteries. The Grand Master is elected by the ruling council and remains in post until death. The series of books is intended to provide interested parties with the equivalent of information and training supplied to a 6th degree Illuminatus. The immense undertaking is one of a number of initiatives run by communication cells of the Illuminati. The series is administered by 3 adepts who have attained the 7th degree of the Order of the Illuminati. For those who wish to get involved with building a new society based on the ingenuity, talents, and power of the people, we recommend that you join the movement. Where is it? It's wherever you are. This is the dawn of hyper-reality. Join the resistance to the power elite. Build a new world order in the name of the people. Make your contribution to a new society. The present book serves as an introduction to the Illuminati, revealing an unprecedented amount of hereto secret information and disclosing the ancient origins of the order. So, just in that part, they are saying how the series of books that they wrote, because there is a 273 books, and they have written different series like the God series, the Illuminati series, the Anti-Elite series, the Dream series. Like, they have different series just explaining everything that you could ever want to know about the nature of reality, the pursuit of existence, the meaning of life. The grand unified theory of everything, explaining everything in quantum physics and, Einstein's general theory of relativity, using math to basically explain the purpose of the universe. It's math. And that's why through ontological mathematics they're able to explain everything. So They mention about the 6,000 souls that are across the globe, which is 1 in a million. It definitely equivalates out to 1 in a million. And the 6,000 souls are in opposition against the 6,000 of the organization, or the elite, or the old world order, the hierarchy that enslaves us, the corporatocracy. And that this is the secret war going on of enlightenment that's been fought like through the ages that actually can be referred to in Assassin's Creed. And they're just giving out like they're just saying who they are, like what this book is about, how many people they're comprised of, what degrees they offer, and the Grand Master being at post until death. So they're giving the workings of their order in this first part. And it's basically saying that the information contained in the books is the equivalent of what a 6th degree Illuminatist would be taught. And there's 10 degrees, so you can get up to the 6th degree just by listening to this information and studying it. And the only way that we're going to be free is that if there's resistance to the power elite. And we have to obviously come together underneath definitely one common understanding. And the Illuminati actually know what that is, and that is in opposition and revolution, like to the oppressors that oppress us. That is going to be actually the thing that brings everyone together. But it has to definitely fall apart first, which is what we are in the process of observing right now, is the fall of the Cabal, of the old world order. Everything that they built is failing because the illusion is dissipating, and it is only a matter of time before it gets to a point to where there is a mass awakening, and then there's going to be a reaction from that. The Illuminators. The oldest writings of the Illuminati declare that the order was founded by the Illuminators, the Fosters sent by Abraxas, the true God, to counteract the malignant influence of the Archons of the Demiurge, and to provide humanity with the means of escape from the Demiurge's dark clutches. The original members of the Illuminati, to whom the Fosters imparted knowledge of the true nature of the divine order, were nomadic holy men, mystics, and philosophers. One of them encountered King Solomon and succeeded in enlightening the most famously wise man of the Old Testament. So, I mean, you can just see where then King Solomon got his wisdom. Was from the Illuminati, from the enlightened ones. That the Illuminators are Fosters, like light beings that came from heaven realm, because there's heaven, there's earth, mid realm, and then there's the underworld, and then there's the dream world, which actually encompasses all of those different worlds. But the light beings definitely come from another context of existence, and they came, the Fosters sent by Abraxas, which Abraxas is the true God, because the God of the Bible is the Demiurge, is Satan, and then Abraxas is coming from outside the Demiurge and is beyond good and evil. And the Illuminati write a whole book about Abraxas as well. And that it goes deep into monadology, which is Leibnizian monadology, which basically explains the universe and how it's made up, and it's made up of a collective of minds, which are monads, and they are like you have the individual monad, and then you have the collective monad, which makes up the collective dream, which we're making up the collective dream right now. And the more minds that can be enlightened, the more we can change the collective dream. The more that we can be enlightened to our divinity, and not that we are wretched creatures that are to be enslaved and have to go to work at 9 to 5 every day 6 days a week to get 1 day off. And it's just like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. And it's time to take a stand and actually recognize our divinity and say that we've had enough of the religious control, the political control, and the economic control. It's going to happen anyway. But it's just good to be, have knowledge about what's going on in the world. And the Illuminati explain perfectly about that, about the problems, and then they give the solutions. So right now, there's so much to go over, but I'm just going over who the Illuminati are, because that is definitely the most important thing to be cleared up. Solomon made the first attempt to create a formal organization based on the teachings of the Illuminati. The prototype was called the Order of Solomon, but it disintegrated after the king's death. Many centuries later, from its ashes emerged the Knights Templar and then Freemasonry. Nothing like the corrupt Freemasonry of the contemporary world. So right there, just in that little section, they make the connection between the Illuminati, King Solomon, the Knights Templar, and Freemasonry. And if you are into the mysteries and into the secret societies and UFOs, you will be studying the different orders, and you will want to be able to know their connection. And in this book, it is saying that King Solomon was the first unofficial Grand Master, and then that the teachings were carried on to the Knights Templar and then Freemasonry. But obviously they mention also about it being corrupted, because everything was corrupted. All of the different secret societies were corrupted because of the secrets they held. But the Illuminati were actually the ones that have not been corrupted, because they actually created them all. So that is very important information right there, because when people hear Knights Templar and people hear Freemasonry, they automatically go to them being bad, evil organizations, because they are referring to the corrupt organizations of today. But the Knights Templar and Freemasons were not corrupt before, and they were a Gnostic movement that were opposing the church. And then they had the Inquisition, and then they obviously, the Old World Order infiltrated the Templars and infiltrated Freemasonry and turned both those orders into now part of the hierarchy that enslaves us. But the Illuminati are actually still the one secret society that's not corrupted. Solomon chose to emphasize the mystical and magical elements of what he had learned from the Illuminati, and became a master in the use of command of esoteric forces. To his enemies, and there were many, he was regarded as a sorcerer. He was locked in conflict with the priests of Yahweh, the agents of the Demiurge, archons, who yearned for his downfall. Solomon survived many plots against him, always managing to outmaneuver his foes. Rehoboam, his son, lacked his extraordinary skill and knowledge, and failed to pacify Israel's warring factions. The kingdom split into two during his reign. So it's, there it's saying that Solomon was in knowledge and command of esoteric forces. And because he was obviously doing extraordinary things, supernatural things, which that was being done through the knowledge of the Illuminati and what he knew through being enlightened by the old mystic men that were enlightened by the Illuminators, that came from beyond the Demiurge. So, he definitely was commanding some esoteric forces, and then he obviously was going against opposition, because he was branded as a sorcerer, because people didn't understand how he was able to do the things he did, and that was just because the knowledge he had, and the knowledge he had was of the enlightened ones. So that can just be cleared up too, like the whole thing about King Solomon and him being bad, and like that's the one thing that's the one thing that has really gotten to me, is just like is going through all of the misinformation and disinformation, because everybody I know these people are painted in a negative way for a reason. The Illuminati is painted in a negative way for the reason, because they have the answers to everything, and the problem, everything is answered, and the knowledge is all there. Like and they definitely want people to not be knowing about that. But they know that I know that I found the Grail. So. And it is funny though, because geniuses, are actually, like, people don't understand them, and I am definitely in a kind of a league of my own right now. Like, so are the enlightened ones. Like, we're definitely in a league of our own, and there's obviously going to be a time where people are ready to understand the truth, which I've spent my life preparing to be able to. Take the red pill, see how deep the rabbit hole goes, and actually find the Illuminati, because just like in the Matrix, the Illuminati are like the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar. They're the ones on the outside fighting the war against the archons, and against the hierarchy that enslaves us, the elite. And actually they highlight that in one of their books, because that's actually another thing that needs to be cleared up too, because either you think the Illuminati are dark shape-shifting reptilian lizards, and the Freemason, neocon, Jay-Z, all the bad people, you think that, or you can think that the Illuminati are the heroes that are actually in the freedom fight, that are actually the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar, contacting lights in the world, and getting the lights to answer the call, and be in the freedom fight for their souls. Like that's actually who the Illuminati are. And this war has been going on for millennia, and it will continue to go on until humanity is free. It was not until the 6th century BCE that the Illuminati finally became an organized order, with Pythagoras, the famous Greek philosopher, mystic, and mathematician, serving as the first official Grand Master. While continuing to take a great interest in the magical and esoteric, he also set about molding the teachings of the Illuminati into an adamantine edifice and synthesis of philosophy, mathematics, science, and religion, an entirely integrated view of the world, providing the knowledge necessary to overcome the false prophets of the Demiurge, who preached faith over knowledge. So that's saying that it wasn't until the 6th century BCE that Pythagoras became, the first Grand Master. And there were obviously other people between Solomon and him, because it was 561 BCE that the order was founded underneath Solomon. And then, obviously the order has esoteric power, and that's obviously understood through the teachings, which are mathematical, philosophical, scientific, and religious. And actually that compilation of knowledge is actually called tetraology. It's called tetraology when you have all the different arts and sciences, like all into one. That's tetraology, and that's like the study of God's knowledge. So obviously with these teachings, you're able to overcome the false prophets and the demiurge who preach faith over knowledge. And I used to be a person of faith, because in that it's like you don't know what's going to happen. You can't know. You're so far beyond God, like you couldn't even fathom the grandeur, that God is. But God is you, though. So it's like you can definitely understand you and fathom you and have that knowledge. And once you have that, you don't have the need for faith anymore. You have knowledge, and you can explain how things work and the reason for things. And Nietzsche said, if you know the why, you can understand the how. Pretty much is what that, I didn't get that quote right, but that's what he was saying. So here we will describe the intellectual development of some of the key ideas of Illuminism. Since the first Grand Master of the Illuminati was Pythagoras, it is to ancient Greece that we turn. Anyone who studies the philosophy of the ancient Greeks will be struck by its brilliance, contemporary relevance, and how all the seeds of a true understanding of life were furnished in just 3 centuries, the 6th to the 4th centuries BCE. And the Greek civilization is obviously one that they go to, because they were advanced, definitely beyond us. Other civilizations like Egypt and in the Italian, in Rome, all the past civilizations were actually more like advanced than us, like, because we have been the soul and spirit has been getting taken out of humanity, so that is leading to our de-evolvement. So that's why it's important to realize it is definitely a fight for our souls, and that is actually, and freedom, and that does come through knowledge, not faith, because faith keeps people in a state of like, oh, I don't know. I don't know, but that's how they want people to be. And then once you find the Illuminati, you will know, like, you will know what's going on. You will know, like, what's important. You will know how to explain all the phenomena that there is, like, scientifically. You will know how to explain it and understand it. Religiously, on a religious level. So it's like the mystery of life is definitely not a mystery anymore. Like once you find the enlightened ones, like I definitely can attest to that, because the questions are answered. There's no more like speculation about like the information you gather and stuff, and what's true or not. Like you can just hear it in the words, that they know exactly what they are talking about. The Illuminati are often referred to as the Bavarian Illuminati, thanks to the most controversial of the Illuminati's Grand Master, Adam Weishaupt. Since Weishaupt was an academic and great thinker, like Hegel and Leibniz, who wanted to rid the world of the sadistic religions and tyrannical governments. It's utterly perverse that he is now cast as a profoundly sinister man. Does anyone regard as Hegel or Leibniz as deeply sinister? Which Hegel and Leibniz were also grandmasters and philosophers, but their work was not in any way sinister, and neither is Adam Weishaupt. I cannot say that name. But neither is that, though. And I personally know, through being in the community of the conspiracies, that even the people at the highest levels that are doing interviews and gathering information, they still are underneath the influence that the Illuminati are the bad guys. So that's definitely not a good thing, and that's what I'm going against. The Overton window that I'm going against, because most of the masses, if not all, believe that the Illuminati are the bad guys and the New World Order is not something good, which is part of what's holding the New World Order, which is an advanced futuristic society based on rational, logical, scientific, mathematical, philosophical, psychological religion known as Illumination, which the Illuminati hold the secret to. What is certainly true is that the Illuminati has headquartered in Germany for a very long time. It was when Germany was unified under Bismarck in 1871 that the Illuminati chose to move its base of operations, since it was apparent that Germany was becoming militaristic and moving away from its cultural and intellectual greatness. The new headquarters was Scotland, which was always played a crucial role in the affairs in the history of the Illuminati. It was there, for example, that the original form of Freemasonry was born from the remnants of the Knights Templar. The Scottish connection is alluded to in the Armageddon Conspiracy by Mike Hockney. So that is important information, because they are definitely acknowledging that the Barbarian Illuminati is them. They were that, and the Barbarian Illuminati's mission was to overthrow tyrannical governments and religions, and that is not a bad thing. The governments and religions, through their propaganda, make that seem like a bad thing, and that is actually still what's happening this day, though, because through their propaganda they paint the Illuminati as the bad guys, even though they are the heroes, because they are literally looking at their sacred mission is to overthrow the elite, overthrow the ones that are responsible for the way the world is. That in no way is a sinister thing. That is a heroic thing, and they still are here. They're still here, and they're not going anywhere. And they actually know how this is going to unfold, and what's going to happen, and what the next context of existence looks like. Because I also got that acknowledged by my source in the ACIO, that the Pythagorean Illuminati know what the next context of existence look like. And that's what I am endeavoring to explain through all of my years of work, and now explaining by reading each book and explaining what I'm reading. Because this does away with all the questions. Like, there's no speculation anymore about who the Illuminati are, and you don't have to read and write a whole bunch of different stuff on the internet that's all misinformation and disinformation, because it's right here contained in the 273 books that they wrote, and all of the Patreon information that they come out with weekly on 4 different subjects weekly. And actually the numbers are getting more and more to people that are getting enlightened to who the Illuminati actually are. And they say here that they went to Scotland, from Germany, and that was crucial for them, because it was it was where they created Freemasonry, and then the Knights Templar was born out of Freemasonry. So you can make the connections right there, and in no way, because the Illuminati created them, this isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing that they created, because they created secret societies, offshoots of them, so that those would flourish, and then they'd be able to meritocratically rise people up into positions of power in the world, so that we could change the world order and free us from the millennia of enslavement that we've been underneath. So that's been the noble mission of the enlightened ones throughout time, and still is. In the latter decades of the 19th century, the great German philosopher Nietzsche, not an Illuminatist, was so alarmed by the type of Germany that he found himself in that he started laying claim to Polish ancestry. His scathing opinions of the new Germany were shared by the Illuminati. Much of what he said about Germany could now be said of most of the Western world, and perhaps particularly America. Germany, thankfully, has returned to being a great nation, and it would be no surprise if the idealistic up-and-coming generation of Germany were at the forefront of changing the world for the better and keeping the traditions of the Illuminati. So this, talks about Nietzsche and how he actually wasn't an Illuminatist. He wasn't in the Illuminati, but he obviously is very revered by them because they use his quotes on everything, and he was like one of the greatest philosophers of all time. And that's who the Illuminati are philosophers and mathematicians and scientists and artists and dreamers. Like that is who they are. That's who they are definitely not bad neocon Freemason, diplomats, whatever people think that is part of the Armageddon conspiracy, and you just have to wipe that out of your mind if you are to actually get to the truth of who the enlightened ones are, which is I found to be like the most important endeavor to understand. So talks about Germany and how they turned, obviously militaristic underneath Hitler. The whole thing. All this is going to get into. I don't know if I want to get into it now, but it is explaining the Gnostic roots of the Nazis, and their hatred for, or Hitler's hatred for the Jews people was for the Abrahamic God, which that was what the war. It was like a holy war, not so much a racial war. It was holy because Hitler was trying to kill the Abrahamic God, and that actually even goes into his exploits around the world in finding artifacts, power, ancient power, having the Anhennerbe, which was Hitler's SS group that was made to go and find these artifacts. And they basically they were like the occult bureau. That actually is shown, disclosed in Hellboy. So Hellboy is a disclosure movie, and about what's really going on. And the SS were the Anhennerbe were going across the world, finding relics and ancient artifacts. And actually were in a mission to assemble the Grail Hollows, the four, the Ark of the Covenant, the Spear of Longinus, the Dish, and the Grail. Like I forgot what they are, but that was actually his mission, was to recover all those and put them together, because that was the way that he was going to kill God, the Abrahamic God. So that this is part of the Armageddon conspiracy too, because this was the actual real driving force behind the Nazis. And it wasn't political at all. It was definitely esoteric what the Nazis and the Anhennerbe were involved in, with going across the world and on a quest for ancient relics. That was actually the real mission behind the Nazis, and the reason for the SS.
Are you talking?
I'm making a video, but I'm done now.